Okay. We all ready? Perfect. Okay. Same rules as previous. It's two minutes to answer the questions. A minute for rebuttal if you will rebut, raise. Give us a sign. First off, let's start with introductions. And Sheriff Miller, you are incumbent, so you go first.
Well, good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank the Wakulla Sun and Bill Snowden for allowing us this opportunity to be here tonight. A little bit about myself. I started at the Wakulla County Sheriff's Office over 30 years ago. I started as a civilian correctional assistant. At that time, that was the bottom of the totem pole at the Sheriff's Office. I was attending Florida State at the time, and so I was working full-time and going to Florida State trying to get my bachelor's degree. As time went on, I stayed at Florida State for about a year or two, working at the Sheriff's Office. As time went on, I joined the Florida Army National Guard. I served 12 years in the National Guard, and I finished my degree in criminology at Florida State on the GI Bill. So I worked full-time and attended Florida State, got my degree, and then later on I went to crossover and corrections and law enforcement at the academy and got certified. I was the honor graduate in both of my classes. Since then, in 2000, I started my career in '93. In 2000, I became the first accreditation manager at the Wakulla County Sheriff's Office. At that time, accreditation was new. Most rural counties in the state of Florida were not accredited, so Wakulla County Sheriff's Office was one of the first rural counties in the state of Florida to be accredited, not only in law enforcement, but also in corrections. So I was the accreditation manager and a big part of that. I'm proud to be a part of that. I was not the sheriff, but I was in charge of that. After that, about 10 years prior to running for sheriff, I was assigned to be major over the jail administration, and I was responsible for over 350 inmates, care, custody, and control of those inmates, and over 75 employees. Those employees,
Mr. Reyes.
Good evening, everybody. And again, thank you to Bill Snowden and Wakulla Sun for hosting this forum. Thank you all for taking the time to come and listen to us. My name is Armand Reyes. Everybody knows me as Army, and I always say there's only 4 people that call me Armand, so if you have to Google me, it's Armand. The only people that call me Armand were judges, defense attorneys, people I arrested, and my mother. That's when I was in trouble. I was born in Wakulla, Philippines, and in 1970, I came to the United States. My parents came 2 years prior to me. I was raised in Brentwood, Long Island, also known as the gang capital for MS-13, and graduated in 1982. Started college in Vermont at Castleton State University. Did a year there and found that it wasn't my calling at the time. Went active duty, was a medic and an OR tech. Served everywhere from basically North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Washington, D.C. And got out in actually 1991, July of 1991. I worked as a neurosurgical PA for quite a bit of time, and the problem I had at the time was I was always the first one to get called in. It was usually an accident that was caused by a drunk driver, and that's when things changed around for me. I took a police test at Suffolk County, probably one of the most rigorous police tests in the United States, and was lucky enough to score really well. So in 20, I was sworn in as an officer in the year 2000.
Okay, cool. We'll start with the questions then, Mr. Reyes. The number one topic in questions submitted by readers dealt with comments that you made at the Palaver Tree event about having deputies trained as EMTs. There were a number of questions submitted, some by deputies, I believe, with concerns such as, will deputies who fail to pass EMT school be removed from their positions? Will there be a medical director position added to supervise these deputy EMTs? And we could fill the whole forum with questions raised by that, if you would explain your.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, EMT, extensive training, I should say, improved training and more training is paramount to this department. When I say EMTs, I have, if you do not pass the EMT course, I'm not firing you. I'm not getting rid of anybody, okay? What we need is, as first responders, the ability to render basic life support for people, whether it's a motorcycle crash, accident, trip and fall. I don't think we have that capacity. So, as far as the certification, I already looked at IPTM. We can start. I'm not doing the whole department in one shot. Most of that training is going to be paid by the salary I promised. Half the salary I promised to give back towards that training. So it's not going to cost anybody anything.
Mr. Moore?
Yes, I would like to respond to that. Your ideas, which you think sound great, they're very unrealistic. It would cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to train EMTs while you're working. You have shifts that are working law enforcement. Now, are these EMTs, when they respond to a scene, are they going to be responding to the crime scene, or are they going to be responding to the victim of the crime? You cannot do that. Plus, you also have fire department, EMS, everything in the county. So are they not going to have a job now? It's totally unrealistic. You do not know how this operation works. You don't know how any operation works. And you stated in the last debate that New York does that. We've contacted New York. We've got your personnel file, and they do not do that. That's not true. None of them are EMT certified. So you want to distract from your lack of experience by alluding to the office being corrupt. No, we're not corrupt. And if you think we're corrupt, please make definitely a complaint to me, and I would love to hear what the corruption is.
Like to about that?
Respond.
I understand the cost of EMT training. My intention is not to send everybody through EMT training at one shot. Yes, I know it's going to be expensive. Yes, I am taking the brunt of it by giving it back. My biggest fear is you've got the southern area of Crawfordville, St. Mark's, Panacea, Sopchoppy, Menard, where you have an aging population. Okay. I brought up the fact that all these cars should have oxygen. And somebody said, well, I wouldn't have oxygen in my car. It's very dangerous. Well, guess what? I wouldn't have gasoline in my car. That's more dangerous. When I did the research on that O2 incident, there have been no reported deaths or explosions caused by a crash or a fire. So, yes, I understand the cost.
Question for Sheriff Miller. During your tenure, there have been some issues with discipline with deputies. One deputy had a Giglio memo written on him, which is where the state attorney has determined that officer is no longer a reliable witness in court and can't testify. You had another deputy with some problems for stops. How do you address those issues in an ethical way?
Oh, that's a great question, and I'm so glad you answered that question, because one of them we are still going through, and he works at the car wash now, and it's actually his friend, but he was lying about being a veteran. He was not a veteran. We tried to charge him with stolen valor, but the statute did not allow us to charge him with that because he didn't get money out of it. But he was telling everyone he was a veteran. He lied on stand. He lied under oath. The judge signed off on it because he was the judge that he lied under oath with. I think Mr. Reyes has got him as a supporter, but yes, we giglioed him, we got rid of him, he's terminated, and on the other guy that you're talking about, he was giglioed and we terminated him too.
Mr. Reyes, do you want
Yes, the fact that Giglio, and yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine. I'm gonna have to talk about your friends too, but I won't. As far as the Giglio, and we'll talk about transparency. You talk about transparency all the time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You talk about the Citizens Academy. But why do we not talk about what happens when two deputies of yours were basically let go, and I think one is actually in jail right now for inappropriate dealings with a minor? There was a small blurb in the paper that I saw that I could find, but there was no.
Yeah, we put him in jail. What do you want me to do?
But Sheriff,
He's arrested and in jail still.
that was under your watch.
Hey,
He should have been vetted better.
when we run, no, you should vet your donors better. Do you know Robert Call, your New York donor? He was arrested. You're one of his co-workers. You didn't know about that?
Well,
Yeah, we know about the one down here, but what about your Robert Call?
okay, so arrests, okay.
No, he was charged and convicted.
You was, that's still an ongoing case.
No, I got it right here. You want to see it?
That's fine.
Sure.
That's fine.
Mr. Reyes, do you want to respond?
Yes, I would like to respond.
Here it is. It's not waiting. He's already been in court.
It's back.
Yeah, it is.
So when he talks about people that have been arrested, I talk about people that have been arrested but have never been charged. There was a little article in the Wakulla Sun, actually it was a big article about me taking money from a certain campaign donor for $50, okay? When I took that donation, it was out of good faith. He was a free man, he was a voter, he was never convicted of a crime. I'm not a judge, I'm not a jury, okay? You, on the other hand,
I'm not judging.
no, you're being very, very judgmental at this point.
No, you're running for the highest office in the county.
Let's let
Judge and jury.
one talk at a time.
But you are being judge and jury. You know, I could say some of your campaign contributions are.
Okay, Tom?
Man? Okay. I'm not gonna name names.
Okay. The next question is for Mr. Reyes.
Yes.
Personnel issues, the difference between managing sworn and non-sworn employees in the sheriff's office.
Well, the sheriff's office, okay, the sheriff being highest appointed, he's gonna be pulled in every direction. And I have to give it to you for your staff that have basically supported you, okay? I don't downplay any of that. I think you have a great staff at this point. Can certain people be diminished as far as what their actual capacity is? I would like to know. As far as civilians, I don't know who actually works for you at this point. I've got ideas, you know, my friend, my cousin, my aunt, but I don't know what your actual personnel records are, how many civilians you have, and how many sworn officers, and how many actual higher ranking administrative staff you have.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You talked about running for sheriff since 2016.
2018.
No, you came to me when I was running in 2016, handed me a card that you were running for sheriff for 2020. That was in 2016. Don't lie. So I'm trying to wonder if you had this much time to prepare to run for sheriff, wouldn't you want to know what our budget is? Wouldn't you want to know how many officers we have, sworn and non-sworn? Wouldn't you want to know what kind of programs we have? You know nothing. How many officers do we have?
I don't know. Because
And you're running for sheriff.
Because you
You're
said-
running for sheriff and you don't know what's our budget.
Let's don't talk over each other. We can't.
I don't know whose question it was at this point.
It was mine.
The question is the difference between managing sworn and non-sworn employees.
I think that was my question, too.
Yes, that was the question. Yeah. Okay, next is for Mr. Miller. What measures can you take to attract and retain deputies in Wakulla County? Obviously, that's been a problem, retaining deputies.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we are a fiscally constrained county, and I know Amy Drexler's over here laughing, and y'all don't know what a fiscally constrained county is. Y'all keep calling it fiscally strapped, but let me educate you. There's 29 out of 67 counties in the state of Florida that are governed by the Florida State Statute 218.67 subsection 1, and what a fiscally constrained county means, Wakulla is one of them, and 28 other counties. They are 1 mil. If the county commission brings up the tax rate to 1 mil, that means a fiscally constrained county brings in less than $5 million to the county. I think y'all need to understand, you're running for sheriff, you would really need to know what a fiscally constrained county is, because that is a big part of Wakulla County. It's not fiscally strapped. It's not something I made up. It's in the Florida statute. It's called fiscally constrained. Google it. Since you like to Google everything, Google it.
Mr. Reyes, the same question. What measures can you take to attract and retain deputies in Wakulla County?
Well, here's a problem. We deal with fiscal constraint, okay? In the last forum, you said you were financial, no, it was on the film.
Okay.
You were cash strapped county.
That's fiscally constrained.
Here and there. Fiscally constrained. I would like to know, how many deputies do we have, and how many lieutenants, how many captains, and how many majors are you paying? I'd love to know. I think everybody would love to know. Right now, I believe it's a mushroom department. You've got more higher ups than you do deputies.
You think what you want. You're wrong.
How about you?
Okay, next question, Mr. Reyes. What specific strategies will you implement to build trust and cooperation between law enforcement and local residents? That's under the heading of community policing.
Community solutions. Well, that's a big question. Gaining their trust is going to be a very paramount again. There are a lot of new residents in Wakulla County. Okay, I do real estate. I don't sell in Wakulla County anymore for the most part. Last year, I think the planning and zoning gave 500 new permits for builds, and then this year alone, in the first quarter, I think it was another 700. So we are growing at an alarming rate, and we need the deputies to be able to not just, as corrections would say, do this, do this, do this, do this. We need to be able to actually talk to the public and treat them on, one person at a time, one problem at a time.
Okay, Mr. Miller, the same question. Specific strategies to implement to build trust and cooperation between law enforcement and local residents.
For the last 7 years since I've been sheriff, we have worked on community policing. When I first took office, we had no relationship with the community. And since I've taken office, I've had my people and my staff, my deputies involved in community policing. If you look, I'm at every event, on every weekend, every night. I'm somewhere, I'm at an event. We are involved in the communities. Community engagement is what keeps us going in Wakulla County. I depend on y'all as citizens to let me know what's going on in your neighborhoods. And that's what's going to keep this Wakulla County safe. And we are continuing to work hard on that.
Okay, starting back with Mr. Miller. What is your approach to tackling drug-related problems in our community, particularly the opioids, and there's other drugs as well in the community, but how do you tackle that?
Well, it's problem that we've been working on since I've been in office also. It's in every county in the state of Florida. We have the Florida Sheriff Association that helps us with funding and helping. I started in 2019 the North Star Multi-Jurisdictional Drug Task Force. We started out with 7 sheriffs. I'm the managing sheriff. I created it to get help. I've got 19 other agencies involved now, 13 different sheriffs, and we're actually having a meeting tomorrow here in Wakulla County. So those relations that I've made with different sheriffs and different agencies around the state of Florida and even federal government, we have corrected a lot of it. It's not perfect. It's like I tell people it's like sweeping a sidewalk. We can get it clean, but there's still dirt in the sidewalk. So Wakulla County is no different than any other county, and we are working hard every day to help with the drug problem. You can see on Facebook, we do it all the time.
Mr. Reyes?
How would I combat that?
Yes.
Drug addiction? Proactive policing. I've always said proactive policing is very paramount. The problem we have with proactive policing right now is we don't have the deputies, we don't have the manpower. And I would love to actually try to find a way through grants to actually get that manpower, whether it's a deputy that's not working, or I should say off duty at the time, to come in and say, hey, would you like to be able to do some kind of drug enforcement? Okay. I put a blurb on Facebook, the DEA certification. It wasn't a brag. Some people looking at it wasn't a brag. It was an introductory course that is offered to police officers to help them know what else to look for. Okay.
Just to rebut that, what you don't understand is we go through training every week. That little 3 hours a week, I've got 200 of them in my back. And so does every deputy that works for me. We go to training every week.
That's not fair.
3 days. I'm sorry, 3 days. I'm sorry, 3 days.
And again, it was an introductory course.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
I didn't say it was a
No doubt.
Okay, gentlemen. Mr. Reyes, this question. The mental health crisis in the community, what partnerships or programs would you advocate for to ensure that individuals in crisis receive appropriate care and that law enforcement officers are adequately trained to handle these situations?
Well, I'd like to pose that to the sheriff, if that's okay. What you actually do with mental or persons who are mental incapacitated. Do we even recognize, or do deputies recognize a person that's got an issue, or do they just bake her out? That's my question.
Is it my turn or is he answered already?
It's answer. It's your turn to answer.
Yeah, you're good. Well, we have a contract with Northwest Florida. We've had it for the last 5 years. We have mobile places that they can call. The deputies actually call. It's right there on point. Mike Watkins, who's the CEO. We have several different Appalachian organizations that we get them help right away, and it's a big thing.
Sounds like a great.
It is. It's great. Great.
I'm not down.
Can you hold on just a second?
Yeah.
Does he sound cutting in and out?
Yeah, that's what I thought. To be closer to your face.
Yeah, don't turn and address Bill, you need to speak front. And I think that's gonna solve the problem. Go ahead and test, speak straight up.
Test.
No?
Test.
No, not at all.
Try it again.
Test.
Actually, I think the battery is done.
I speak loud.
I think the speak or hand him the microphone.
Well, I'll ask them. Okay, the next question, youth programs and prevention. What initiatives do you propose to prevent youth involvement in crime and to support positive youth development in Wakulla County? Mr. Miller.
So since I've been sheriff, we have started very, very many community and youth relationships. I started the law enforcement against drugs and violence. It kind of takes the place of DARE. I go twice a year to the 5th grade elementary schools. I give speech, and we give them a little certificate. The Wakulla County School Board has allowed us a certain amount of time every week for the 8-week period that it is, and they get a little graduation certificate and a shirt, and it teaches about drugs and violence. And it's a great opportunity for these 5th graders. My son, he actually went through it when he was in 5th grade. He's 30 now, and he still has his shirt. I still remember him wearing his shirt all the time. So we started that. It's basically what DARE and SAVE used to be, but now it's called LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs and Violence. We started the Wakulla Citizens Academy, the Youth Academy. We have a great amount of explorers, which are young kids involved in the law enforcement. They have their own little uniforms. We have things that they do once a week. They volunteer. They help out with the Wakulla County Sheriff's Office, and it's almost basically a thing to let them know if they're involved interested in law enforcement. So our Explorer program has become a very big asset to our sheriff's office. They walk in our parades and help us, and they love it. The kids love it. So we also have the Teen Drivers Challenge. The Teen Drivers Challenge is something that is huge here in the Wakulla County Sheriff's Office. Supported by Florida Sheriff's Association. It books up automatically within 10 minutes. So if you have any teams that want to get practice driving, Teen Drivers Challenge.
Mr. Reyes?
Sheriff, great programs. They really are. I would love, if I was elected, I would love to continue that. I would also like to add Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I was a very big part of Mothers Against Driving. I think drunk driving in this county is not enforced enough, believe it or not. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Another question. This is a very broad question. Mr. Reyes, you go first. It's crime prevention. Can you outline your strategies for crime prevention in Wakulla County?
Well, crime prevention. Getting more cops on the road. That's going to be number one. We definitely need more officers to be able to do proactive policing as opposed to, there's a difference. There's a proactive cop and there's a reactive cop. Okay. Proactive, you're going to look for the stuff. Reactive, you're waiting for a call. Someone's already been burglarized. Their car's been broken into. So, proactive policing is going to be, like I said, a very big part of this.
Mr. Miller?
Well, community policing is part of crime prevention. There's a lot of things that are part of crime prevention. Yes, more cops help, more staff helps. And yes, we have been hiring people left and right. I just got approved for 8 extra positions. I'm working on trying to get 5 more. Yeah, every year since I've been sheriff, I have gotten our deputies a raise, and I have gotten our deputies more increased presence here. Yeah, we are not. We're a fiscally constrained county, now that y'all understand that. And no, we don't have the money to hire 100 people. But thank goodness we are designated as a fiscally constrained county, along with 28 other counties in the state of Florida that get help from the governor. We get that help. That helps with our salaries. That helps with recruiting people and everything else. Now, my opponent thinks that we're way underpaid. We are underpaid, but we're only $5,000 or $6,000 less than what Leon County starts out at. So to drive to Leon County, yeah, you'll make $5,000 or $6,000 more, but that headache, you're losing money. And I tell my deputies that I don't blame them for leaving for more money, but the $5,000 or $6,000, even $10,000 driving, going back and forth, you're not making the money. Our insurance, the Wakulla County Sheriff's, our insurance is a lot better spent in Leon County. I think our family plan pays $200 a month, which is unheard of. The same insurance in Leon County is $1,200. So it's there's a lot of things we can do. And yes, I wish I had an unlimited amount of money, but I don't. And we're doing the best we can with what we have. And just so you know, Wakulla County, 80% of the land is state and national forest. So the other 20% is the only thing that can be bought. We're not going to ever be as big as New York, ever.
Last question, school safety. What are your plans to ensure the safety and security of students and staff in our local schools? Mr. Williams, you go first.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. What are your plans to ensure the safety and security of students and staff in schools?
Great question. So since I've been sheriff also, after Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, we had 4 school resource officers assigned to the schools, and they went around, and that was not uncommon for a small rural county in the state of Florida. After Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, we got at least 1 SRO in every school, so now we have 11 or 12, and then we have also guardians there. So every school in Wakulla County is protected with at least 1 deputy and a guardian. So that's the school board actually helped us. We had a great relationship with them. A lot of counties, the same size as us and larger, had problems getting those positions filled. We had the positions filled in no time, and our schools are much safer because of it. Now, we do have some problems with the way that some of the schools are set up, and we're working with some of the schools because it's a structural problem. It's not a staffing problem. So we've got to work with the school to try to help them design some way to make the school safer. And children need to be safe. They should feel safe, and the staff should feel safe also.
Mr. Reyes?
I do like the guardian program. I do like the fact that every school has an SRO available. I would like to work with the schools on getting a grant for getting electric passes and keeping the front doors the only way in during school hours, as opposed to somebody being able to get in and go back. Again, that's going to be some work in progress.
Okay. Close. Mr. Reyes?
Again, other than what I told you, that there's going to be a lot of pushback from what I've said, especially the training. It's hard to make change. It really is. And you have to look forward to the future. Wakulla is not Wakulla that everybody grew up in. Wakulla's changed in the years I've been here since 2015. You know, I look at some of my audience or some of the audience and they just, dismiss that. It's not. Wakulla is not the same. Wakulla is growing and growing and growing, and it's not just from Wakulla or Leon or Franklin County. We got, again, being a realtor, we got Kentucky, Louisiana, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and other states coming into this county, okay, because it's affordable and it's still very, very homey. Wakulla is probably one of the only places you can drive down the road and somebody's still wave at you without thinking, who the heck are you? Who the hell are you? So, I hope you take what I've said to heart, and good luck in your trip and your choice.
Once again, thank you, Wakulla Sun and Bill Snowden, for providing us with this opportunity. You're right, Armand. Wakulla County is growing, it's continuing to grow, and we are growing with that, and we will have to continue to grow with it. and that takes more people. That's why every year I ask for more people. So far, every county commissioner has voted for me since I've been in office. And any budget that I put for the last 7 years to the county commission, they have voted 5-0. And so I've got another budget coming to them with more people. So yes, we're working on that. We're trying our very hardest, but it does not happen overnight. And no, Wakulla County Sheriff's Office cannot afford to hire 20 people at a time. I asked for almost 10 last time. I got 8, then 5. And every year since I've been sheriff, it has been going up. And we're going to continue to grow with Wakulla County. And we're in it. It's not going to grow. It is growing. And what you need to understand, the part that you don't understand is we're doing it now. It's not fixing to happen. It's happening. And so I know you say we need more people, and we do. I'll be the first to tell you. But Wakulla County is growing. It's a great place to live. I love Wakulla County, and I do want what's best for Wakulla County. And I hope that you will humbly think about supporting me again for your sheriff. I promise that I will do my very best to continue to support, and please keep Wakulla safe and vote for Sheriff Miller.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight and answering these questions. Thank the audience as well. Thank y'all for coming out and participating. Thank you, Eric, for running
Good to
the
see you.
computers. Thanks to Heather for being the timekeeper, and thanks to Rachel for keeping me straight.
Hey.
Thank y'all. Good night.